Hi and welcome to Thisisfootball.Africa, and it's saying it like it is with the one and only Gavin Hunt, or some people say two old white guys. How you, Gavin? You well?
Yeah, I'm all right, Peter. Nice to see you. Compliments of the
Yeah.
season. Hope you're well.
You too. Have a happy and healthy 2024, and to all the viewers and listeners out there, happy and healthy 24. And thanks for
Thank you.
supporting us. And don't forget, guys, to like and to subscribe and to comment. Your support is valuable to us. Keeps us motivated. Gavin, first of all, you're having a bit of a break. You enjoying it?
It's a break, Peter, but it's not a mental break because you're still on the phone. You know, you want to. There's players, and you're trying to see if you can get a player in or something like that. So, this time of the year, but it's certainly from a physical point of perspective, it's a break from training and that type of thing. I mean, this Nations Cup always comes at an awkward time, and you just get going and then you stop, and so yeah, it is what it is.
Any boys coming in or anybody going out?
Well,
Give us
we don't have any money to buy any players. So we're obviously looking around the free markets and looking like maybe some players, not happy at clubs. And so you got to leave that to my director of football, and he can obviously handle it. But we talk consistently about, what we need and what we don't need.
We can talk about the transfer window a little later, but let's go
Yeah.
straight into last night's game, Bafana versus Mali. Your comment?
Well, I think it's disappointing, the result. I think the first half we were okay. I think the second half we got a little bit disjointed. I think, and obviously there was a little bit of the opportunities were created from the opposition a little bit more. But I think the first half we looked much better. Our distances were better. We kept a little bit more compact. We played from a better base. Where I think in the second half, our fullbacks got far too high, too wide. And then obviously when the ball got turned over, our two centre backs got exposed. So I think we played a little bit too high. I think we should have. Our line was good in the first half, the pressing line, what I call it. And I think the second half we got a little bit too high and a little bit too excited. And then the goal came obviously from a set piece, the first one, but the second one obviously, there was big spaces where I thought we maybe chased it a little bit there more, and disappointing the result. But listen, you look at the Mali side, man for man, where they play against our side. I think it was always going to be a difficult ask. Yeah.
So that's a good point, because that's an obvious fact. Is if you look at just the clubs they play for, they all play in top clubs overseas. Most of our guys are local guys. The ones who are playing overseas are not playing really in big leagues, internationally. A question on that: do you think, besides that, besides the fact that they've obviously got more experience and so-called better players, are the guys fitter and stronger than us?
I wouldn't say, Peter, there's a difference between fitter and stronger. Fitter, anybody can get fit. It doesn't matter what size. But they fit the physicality. The thing that we lack in our football is the physicality. Now people say, "Oh well, we don't need it," but we can. But you're not going to win without a little bit of physicality in your team, be it in certain positions, be it in areas, and obviously the physicality side we certainly lack in our country. The strength and the size of players, it's a known fact. It's not a personal thing, or I like or don't like, and we certainly. If you go back to earlier years in our football, there was a lot more physicality in our football. And the players were much bigger, and the size of players were bigger. And you look at our '96 team compared to our team now. If they stood next to each other, you would see a huge difference in size of players. Now, big doesn't always win, but you certainly need a certain physicality in the game to play at that level. And the higher the level to go, your 1v1 battles you need to win. I think we lost a few in the second half. Maybe because we got a little bit too high and we were in their face a little bit, where we had to come up. We got to play a different type of way with the players we've got, possibly. Come down a little bit and then play into the space a little bit more. Where we get a little bit, the second half, as I said, I think we got a little bit too high. We're really on top of them. So the distances they had to cover to close the ball down was much shorter, where in the first half, the distances were much bigger. So when the distances are bigger, you can move the ball quicker and get out of situations. So yeah,
But you think,
we certainly need a criteria of selection of players, not for the national team, from junior teams, has to change.
Right. We'll come back to that one. But just talking about the game, do you think Broos changed it in the second half, or do you think the players maybe mentally just got too excited or lost concentration?
No, no, I don't think Hugo changed it in the second half. What happened was we started to get on the ball. We had good dominance of the ball sometimes. And what happens is you lose your sense of discipline and where you're playing from, and you get a little bit excited. And I think we got a little bit high up the pitch, and then we turned it over in really tight areas because the physicality of them were really, as I said, the distance gets shorter for them to press, so they're going to win the ball a bit more. And then the ball breaks out, and our two centre backs are getting split. The fullbacks are on the wrong side of the ball. Where in the first half they were on the right side of the ball, playing front into the front space, where you look at the second half, our fullbacks, 9 times out of 10, were chasing back and facing their own goal. So you're playing from a much higher base. So what needed to happen after 5-10 minutes in the second half was say, come down again. Let's wait. Let's play out from a better base, which didn't happen. So I don't think it changed it. I just think we got a little bit, if the word's excited, I wouldn't say excited, but I think a little bit overconfidence. And I mean, Peter, I always say you get teams, average teams, and you're playing against a team that's a far better team than you. And all of a sudden you get on the ball and you get a little bit of confidence, but you're going to give it away because you don't have the same ability as the opposition. And you get a little bit excited and the ball turns over and you get and you're 1-0 down and you say to yourself, well, why weren't we doing what we were good at by letting them have the ball and then, we play out from a deeper base. So I wouldn't know what went if there was a I don't think it was a change of tactics, but it looks like certainly our fullbacks were far too high in the second half and then the problems started,
But then the question, Gavin, I mean, you're sitting on the bench, he's sitting on the bench. After 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, it became very clear. Surely you make a change, whether it's one of three things. Surely you put the word out there, guys, do X, Y, Z, get back to how we were doing. You're not listening. That's the first thing. Second thing, certainly, if it happens again, you make a change.
Yeah. No,
He did
I think I think, Peter, when you see coaches all over the world get off the bench, I don't think it's about trying to. If you're trying to coach the team, they're not trying to how to play. Then you got what you got to do is reminding players of what we tried to do from the beginning, and to get back into a shape where we're going to play from. So sometimes and in football, Peter, the most important thing with football is distances. If your distances get too big, they get too small, they get too, I'm talking front of the team to the back of the team. If the distance gets too big, there's going to be too much space for the opposition to play in. If your distances are too short, they'll play one ball over the top, so you've got to keep your distances, and that takes discipline, that takes concentration, it takes practice, it takes,
experience.
Experience. And when players come from different teams, if you haven't ingrained it into, so every team is different. Doesn't matter what team in the world. Now you come to your national team and it's different. So if there was a set way of doing things for the last 2 years, they should come back and say, right, this is how we do it at Bafana. This is how we do it at our clubs. Well, it's different. Bafana's different. So, but that takes discipline and.
My big point, though, Gavin, is if we did it relatively well in the first half, we could have been up 1 or 2. They could have got one at the end. So if the score was 2-1 at half time and we were looking good. Yeah. Well, the penalty, Peter.
Let's be honest, Peter. I mean, you score the penalty. It's a different ball game. Then you stay more where you were. You know what I'm saying? Then you even play more on a counter. You will play more on a counter. Listen, Peter. We can talk all day, but it happens to every football team around the world. These type of things. You know what I mean? It's just that they scored from a set play. Rebound off the crossbar. And then obviously we were chasing it then, we're chasing it.
I agree. And to me, it really just looked like we were getting mentally tired as well. Tell me, Namibia game, what would you do? I mean, they're basically a PSA, they're a local team. They're similar kind of lineup as us.
I mean, this is just me. This is just me, Peter. This is not. I would play with the back three against Schalulile and Hotto, and go and give us a little bit more cover there with their pace. Those two they're quick as lightning, and we're not blessed with the most pace. I would go certainly with another centre back and let Aubrey and Madar play down the sides, and then it'll give us more penetration up front as well. I just feel that Evidence boy, he needs a little bit more. So there was not once where I saw the 10 run beyond Evidence. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We need people to run. You can't play behind your striker all day. So I think if you play with a back three, it'll give you a chance to play with another striker. Moreno up front next to Evidence. He'll run off the back of him, and we get round the back of them.
And he's quick.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think to justify, but have they practiced that? I don't know. But I would certainly go with another centre back in there, play 3 centre backs, and say, right, one Schalulile and Hotto, we're going to take care of them, and then we'll have somebody who can maybe come. The boy in midfield, the what's his name? The 13, Sotoli. What's his Sotoli?
Early, the guy playing in Portugal.
You know, he should play maybe in the middle of the centre backs there and come out to the ball from there, and then come into midfield. You know what I mean? But certainly, maybe a change of shape might help them. But if they play the same, I mean, you're playing against a lot of PSL players there, so it's very, you know, it's there's nothing. You're not going to get. What you're going to get is pace. I don't think you're going to get too much physicality. I mean, like physicality and strength 1v1s like Mali. So, but you're going to get a lot of pace from Namibia. And Namibia, I tell you, that Tunisian team, they ran them ragged. They could have been 4 or 5 out of sight there, you know.
Yeah.
So, maybe it needs a change of shape. But I mean, it's 2 days away. Maybe he won't. I don't know. You know.
Well, as an ex-striker, I was never as quick as Schalulile. But I think if I was Schalulile right now, I would not be too concerned about playing against our 2 centre backs.
Well, he'd be licking his lips. He'd be licking his lips, won't he? You know what I mean? You know, yeah.
I think.
Listen, Peter, in football, what scares opposition teams? Pace. You know, skillful players, but pace. You know, people that can run behind, people that can, you know, a little check one, come forward, drag you in, and check in behind. I mean, you can't handle it. Nobody can handle that. You know, so
it messes with your shape because and your distances, by the way.
Your distances, all of a sudden your back line where it was sort of 10 yards, 15 yards off the edge of the box, now you're 5 yards closer to your box because you don't want to give them space behind, you want to give the space in front. So if you say to Schalulile, I'm going to give you the space in front of me, and he drops off short, and you can let him go in there, then he's not going to run behind. You can't get behind you because I've got to run in him, you know. But if you get in his shoulder and you get a little bit higher where you should be, there's going to be space certainly behind him, you know, with Hotto and him, you know.
Let's just jump to the PSL before we come back to the national team. Your summary of the halfway mark, particularly your team, and obviously Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns up there with you, Stellenbosch, Cape Town City.
Yeah, I think we've done really well by bringing 11, 12 Disky players into our squad. You know what I'm saying? We lost three big players from me. Well, me, Maseko, the left winger. We lost TT, the centre back, and we lost Patrick, who went to Pirates. Now, if we had those 3 players this year and added 1 or 2 on that we got this year, I mean, I think we could have been a real, you know, a decent. I'm not saying we're not a decent team, but what we've done is we brought in all these kids. I mean, I played 12. Peter, we played 12 kids first year. 12 from the Disky team. Okay, we played them in Africa. I played 2 centre backs against Orlando Pirates. There were 18 from the Disky team. You know, we never had Tyson, we never had Sienda, we never had this. You know, so you know, I've taken. I wouldn't say taking a gamble, but I'm saying I know they will be good. Certainly, given a bit of time, but you know, you don't have time. So to end up joint second on, okay, we're third on goal difference. You know, to get the points we've got. Can we do better the second half? I think we've thrown a few games away, and I think most of the games that we won, I think, you know, we were really good in those games, but I think there was a bit of inconsistency, and obviously the thing that's killed us the most, and obviously, is not playing home games. We're playing Polokwane, so we're in a bus, 400 kilometers, where a home game would take us 1 day, now it takes our home game 3 days. Day before, play the game, come back the next day. And, you know, we don't camp. So we on a match day, we just go meet and then just have a pre-match and then go straight to the game. So training time has been cut. The time on the bus. So that is really, but obviously financially, it's helped the club because you have to play at stadiums. That's basically the bottom line. But it's certainly a big gamble. And a big concern of the players and the team that we're having to do this and not play any home games, you know.
I'm dead against that, Gavin. I think it's wrong in our PSL. But anyway, that's another story for another
Yeah,
discussion.
well, that's
Tell
another
me,
story for another day. Yeah. You listen, the PSL teams have got to do what they have to do, Peter, financially to get income, to these type of things. So these are what it is. I mean, Chiefs playing Durban and
yeah.
Polokwane and Sikakuni, Joburg team playing Polokwane. It is what it is.
Only in South Africa, and that's a discussion for another time. But to
Like
me,
if you say to Man United, listen, you're going to play at the Emirates Stadium in London. You're playing in Arsenal Stadium next year. Next year, you're playing all your home games there. I mean,
I can understand what's happened, for example, in Spain with I think they did the Super Cup. Real Madrid played and Barcelona played in Saudi Arabia. That's a one-off. They got paid huge amount of money in the. Even that's a bit wrong, but it's a
Cup
one-off and it's
final,
a Super.
Cup final,
But,
yeah. Cup
but
finals,
it's not even.
Cup finals.
It's
I
not
mean,
even
I
yeah,
disagree. Cup finals. I mean, we always play in Mozambique because they pay the most money, or somebody's making money, or something's happening there. So
yeah.
we all complain, oh, why is it there? But those things one off. But I'm talking about league
Yeah.
games.
I agree.
Yeah.
Completely
It's
wrong.
been.
Tell me
All
this.
I'm saying is, we understand the financial problem, and we got to accept. We got to abide by the rules. But it's been tough for us, and what we've done and what we've achieved by doing that has been brilliant. So.
Yeah. Tell me just you mentioned it, Maseko. Um, he played wide left. You've had him as a player. He's hardly played games for Sundowns. In my opinion, and you know him better, how does he get into national team in something as big as this? And I'm not knocking the guy. He's got potential. But for me, he looks like a kid who's still learning the game. And in my opinion, there's a lot of better left wide players in the country than him.
I don't know.
Now.
Peter, I don't know if you saw the Harry Redknapp interview the other day when he spoke about players. So if you buy a player for 10 million now, you're getting an average player. If you buy a player for 20 million, he's not too bad, maybe a little bit better. You buy a player for 50 million, well, he's okay. He'll survive. Then you buy a player for 80 million or 90 million, oh, he's a good player. But the first thing
Yeah.
is he don't know the game. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what I'm trying to say is he's had one season in the PSL, fantastic boy, got great potential, but he needed a bit more. He needs a bit more time. You know what I mean? Now he's been put in there. He doesn't get picked. People. He obviously doesn't get picked on his own. He doesn't say, "Oh well, you must pick me." So they picked him. But I do. The biggest problem with is he needs games. He needs a little bit more game time. He needs a little bit more know how, when, how, what. You know what I'm saying? And I only had him for a season, and then obviously he got sold on. They bought him, and they've moved him around quite a bit. Which obviously maybe doesn't help him as well by playing him here, there, and all over. Where now the national team is back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to go there. But now he's back to where he sort of played for us. On the left side, getting 1v1. Trying to play with. A lot of the time you're playing on the half turn. That's you got to get better at. Then when you bring the ball inside, when you take it outside. These are the type of things, but he's got pace to burn. He's got he's got a goal in him. He'll run behind for you, but he just needs a little bit more time. Yeah, bottom line.
So your answer is he will be a player, but he's not quite a Bafana player right now.
Well, it's the same. It's the same as you got. There's a boy Jaden Adams. Very good player, fantastic player. But is he for that? And then other boy Apollos. I'm saying they're good players, but they need to. There's still, I think, a little bit of more about learning the game, how to, when, how, what, So listen, it's three good moves for the country, taking young boys with. But that level, I think, it's more about. Are you really going to bring them in against Mali last night? You know what I mean? That type of thing, But good kids. Good kids.
That brings me to the point. Question is that when you get young players coming from your academy or young players coming from other clubs, or you sign in a player who's 18, 19, 20, 22, even in South African terms, 22 is still young. Overseas, basically, these guys are the finished product from a learning point of view. Their first touch is right. They understand position. They understand they're physically strong. They're mentally strong. They're professional players in so much as that they live a professional life. They know what they need to do to have a 10, 15-year career. The coach is not explaining them, explaining to them how to play a position. He's only explaining to them, in our team, this is how we play in this position. The guys goes, got it, and so on and so forth. Obviously, there's repetition learning. When you getting these guys in, is it back? Are they footballers, or is there still a long way to go? And even when we start to play 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem in South Africa, Peter, they don't know the game. Now, we coaching the wrong way. We trying to coach to the game. We should be coaching from the game. That's the problem in South Africa. So all the youth football these days. So what I mean by that, I'm saying, I think the biggest thing, if you go back in years, I think the players knew the game better. There was better game intelligence, right? Nowadays, they play the game, but they don't know the game. So basically, they're doing training drills on the field. So the game should be the teacher, Peter. The game, we should always coach from the game. We're trying to coach to the game. So let the game play, and then we say, right, what do we need to work on? Well, we need to work on this, we need to work on that. Let's take it back. Now, what happens is, around the world now, it's happening all around the world, somebody gets on a laptop and somebody sees training drills and exercises of rondos and all this fancy training drills of small goals, but we're not teaching them the game, Peter. So everybody's copying these fancy training sessions around the world, but they don't know the game. So let them. So when we were juniors, there was the A, B, C, D, E, F team. And you went from the B, you try to get into, or the C, you try to get into the B, you try to get into the A. And the youth development football, how to play the game. So, and I think it's happening all over the world, where we're trying to coach players, doing all these fancy drills, and then you put him in a game in 11v11, and he hasn't got the faintest idea about keeping my distance on my partner, to my left, to my right, in front of me, behind me, when we press, how we, and then we talk about these things, but we can't actually do it. And then the theory of football is very good in the world now. All over the world. It's fantastic. Everybody's got laptops and everybody's top coaches, analysts, but they can't practicality of the practical side of the game. So the game is not the teacher anymore. We're trying to teach them the game. No, that's wrong. Let the game, it's like kids. People say, oh, we need to coach them. Let them play. Let them play. Let them play. And then we bring it back, and then we'll try and coach from there. And I think what happens in South Africa, a lot of these kids at 22, 23 will come into the PSL. They haven't played 50 games in their lives. You know, honestly, Peter, it's the truth. They have, say we look for a goalkeeper. So the goalkeeper come to me, he's 22 years old. The guy came last week to me. He's done here. I said, how many games you played in your life? He said, maybe 10, 15 games. And he's 22. I said, my friend, I would play 22 games a month. You know what I'm saying? We play 3 games a week. You know, we were playing at school. I was playing here. We were playing there. We were playing there. I don't have to tell you, Peter, how many football matches we played. So they're not even playing at schools anymore. So the game is not the teacher. They're not learning how to play the game of football. But the coaching, and we're doing this, and we rondo, and it's all this fancy stuff with small goals, and it all looks good. Put them on 11v11, they don't know where they are. They got no idea how to play right side. In a 4-4-2, play on the right side of midfield. Now, if you get in a player and you sign a professional contract, do I have to tell him how to play on the right side of midfield in a 4-4-2? About his inside shoulder, about keeping his distances, about tucking in, about getting wide, when to cross it, when not to cross it. So those are the type of things that the game has to improve on. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Gavin, but how do we change that?
Well, it's got to go back to the junior level. And I think we got to make it more competitive. We got to make competition back again, where there was a lot of, Peter, the Gauteng leagues, some of the leagues have got 10, 12 teams in them. So you're playing 20-odd games a season. Are you joking? They should be playing, double headers every weekend, playing at school. So you play a game on a Wednesday at school, you play a game on Saturday, you play a game on Sunday or something. I don't know. There should be more games. And then we coach them in between the weeks but let them play, man, and then it's just, I go down to some junior football. I watch the football. And the kids at 15, 16, where they should be getting a bit more idea about how to play without the ball, how to play when we have the ball, they're all over the show. You couldn't tell you if they're playing 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 3-1, whatever. You couldn't tell you what shape or balance or patterns and that leads to player identification problems, because now you look for a centre back, you look for a centre midfield, and then they say to me, I'm a defensive centre midfield. I say, well, what's that? Do you not go attack? Then the guy said, I'm attacking midfield player. I said, what's that? Don't you defend? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at the national team last night. You look at Percy Tau on the right side of midfield. Honestly, Peter, yeah, he's out. He don't know where he is. He got, he's playing all wrong. He's playing on individual brilliance. He's not playing on within the team structure, how you should play, how you shouldn't play. So, he plays for Al Ahly there, but they play a 4-3-3. So he plays on the right hand side, doesn't tuck in, doesn't get close to centre backs or centre halves.
But they're also
and he's they're
the best team in the league there. So it's not like it's a different ball.
He's not tracking. He's not tracking much. Yeah, I'm just giving you an example of a player that certainly shouldn't be playing in that position. I'm not saying he shouldn't be playing, but he shouldn't be playing in that position, because now he plays for his club there. Maybe his club is wrong. I don't know. And he's playing for the net, but he's not a right side midfield player. Who plays on the right side there. He's just all out of balance and shape.
We don't get enough out of him in that position. Let's move.
Never.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming the national team. I'm not blaming, but he plays for his club. I mean, I watched him play luckily when they played Sundowns. I watch him. He doesn't touch the ball. He doesn't get involved in the game. He just hangs out on the wing there, comes inside, cuts inside, does. But he should be more effective. Maybe even if you play him as a number 9, play him up the top there. When you played, he's quick. He'll run behind people. Play him as what do they call them? I love the way there's all this terminology in modern football, false nines. But play him up there. But he's more effective there than on a wide area. I'm not saying I'm not. That's just opinion. But he's not a wide player. He's not a wide player in a sense in a 4-4-2. No chance. No chance.
If you look at him in Bafana only, he's not the player he was 2 years ago. But that's just my opinion. Just a couple of really questions. Sorry.
No, I've just brought him up like a player identification, and it's got nothing to do with the boy. I mean, the boy's, he's playing there for his club and he plays there for a national team. But a guy like that, we should be getting more out of playing more central area. You know what I'm saying?
I think he should have progressed more as well. Sean Mabiza asked a question talking about coaching, and I didn't know this. He says your daughters are coaches. Your daughter is a coach. Is that correct? And is she doing a bad job?
Yeah, they both done their D licenses, and now they're onto the C. And I stay out of it. They talk all the modern day language,
Tell me, they get ambitious to coach professionally in South Africa.
Yeah, they are. They're both ambitious. They want to be in the space. They love football. They're brought up with it. So, but it's always difficult for a woman. But I said to them, listen. You got to do these coaching licenses, get on a coaching course, go through the stages, and then. But as I said earlier, you can have all the theory in the world. You need the practicality. You need to be able to put on a session, run, coach players, and. So,
well, Gavin, I want to see one of them on the bench as your assistant. Let's see what happens.
No, maybe I'll be. Well, then I'll be flipping upstairs. I'll be telling them on the microphone or something. Hey.
You'll be there. You'll be their assistant. Listen, there's a couple of questions that I really enjoyed from a few readers. There's a guy called Law and Order, and he says,
Law and Order.
Yeah. What are we going to do to have our football academies in South Africa rival the academies overseas? Because if you think about it, as young players being coached, surely we can do that, right?
That's the first word is wrong. We don't want academies. We want football clubs.
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem.
But
everybody's got an academy.
Well, he means he's talking about like if you use that Chiefs or Pirates or Supersport. That's what he's talking about, not general academy. So let's call it coaching in the youth systems at the big clubs in South Africa versus. I mean, you go overseas all the time. You're talking to coaches.
Well, the first problem is everybody's just popping up calling it academy. They're all called academies. They should be football clubs, and by meaning football clubs, they should have a structure of if it's 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s, and a first team. You know, that's what that you can't have academies where we've got these 20, 30 players, and they're all between the ages of 16 and 18. No,
No.
that's wrong.
No,
That's wrong. You need a football club, and they should not be allowed to. They shouldn't play in any leagues. They shouldn't play in any. They shouldn't be in any big SAFA organizations. These academies. No, I don't agree with it. They should be football clubs.
I agree.
By meaning, they started under 8s. If they can't start at under 8s, then you start at 10s, 12s. What if it's? I don't know what it is now. Is it 12, 14, 16, or 10, 12? It doesn't. But they need football clubs. You can't have academies. No.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
in the old days in Cape Town, the big players went to Cape Town City or Hellenic under 14, under 16, under 18, and then if you didn't get in the reserve team, you were gone.
And Hellenic and Cape Town City played in the leagues of the Camps Bay, the Green Points, all the other clubs. So there was a club.
Yeah.
So you built something, and there was a continuity of going from the under 8s to the under 10s to the under 12s to the under 14s, and there was leagues every week, and you were playing competitively, organized structure. Now they've got academy. The guy says, "Okay, I'm going to open up academy." Okay, fantastic. He's got money. He houses all these kids. He brings them in. Now, what leagues he playing in? Who, where, how, what? And he's only got under 17s or under 18s. Yeah. He doesn't have senior team. He doesn't have junior team.
It's the same as long as
shouldn't be allowed.
They only have one team. That's in the so-called top amateur league. You know, it's not a club.
Shouldn't be allowed. And by doing that, you can minimize all the clubs, get less clubs, get more strength, and we run these things properly. But I mean, in Johannesburg alone, there must be, I don't know how many academies. They call them academies. Now, my goodness, then they'll phone you up. Oh, can we have a game with you? I say, well, no. Who are you? No, we got academy. We got these brilliant kids. So you have a game with them. So I said, where's your under 10s? No, we don't have under 10s. I said, where's your first team? No, we don't have a first team. So what? No, we're academy. No, you must be a club. You need to be a club, proper club.
And SAFA's got to should come in and address that. But we'll talk about in more detail about SAFA.
Yeah. That's a SAFA thing. I think needs more control of in the areas in that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
because it's doing us a disservice. Just another question. A guy called Matwang Wahalele says, "What's your thoughts on foreign coaches in the country and in the national team?"
I don't think you're ever going to get away with it. In every country, anywhere in the world, you're always going to get foreign coaches coming into countries. I don't think it's ever going to change. I don't have a problem with that. As long as people are qualified, as long as they bring in good knowledge and intelligence into the game and taking the game forward, I think it's good competition. I have no problem with that. And if they can lift the standards, I do think, not only in South Africa, but I do think around the world, it gets a little bit fashionable. So you get a certain type of a nation, Brazilians, those stuff, and you get coaches who come into countries but I think if they add value and they bring knowledge, and there's nothing wrong with it. And club owners can do what they like. They pay the salary. So Peter, the three big clubs in South Africa, Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns, were always generally run by foreign coaches because they always got the plum jobs. So maybe they felt that a local coach couldn't handle the whatever it is. But I think, the dynamics and all the pressure that goes with it, the media and everything like that, where foreign coaches pretty much just came in and coached. That's the other problem. Sometimes foreign coaches just come in and coach and don't really worry about youth development, bringing young players in, I always say build a club. Let's build a club. Let's build a team where they come in, do a job at.
That's a great example, because I reckon if you look at Pitso and yourself, you helped build SuperSport. There's no doubt about it, and Pitso would no doubt help build Mamelodi Sundowns. It goes without saying.
One thing about Pitso with all those foreign coaches, he did brilliant because he stood his ground and he got his way, and he brought players in that he wanted, not what. I think because the foreign coaches, a lot of them came in. I'm not saying they were bad coaches; they were very good coaches, great pedigree, great CVs. But I don't think they knew the market where to get players. So he changed everything at Sundowns, and he started to say, "Hey, we don't need this type of player," because they were getting square pegs in round hole players. You know what I mean? They didn't fit. They were good players at a club, but he said, "I want him, that type of players," and the success certainly they reap the success of that. So you got to give Pitso a lot of credit, You know what I mean? He changed, and obviously he said no to somebody there, the hierarchy, and you got to give him credit.
That may not have helped him in the long term, though. But anyway.
No, listen. Hey, he's smiling, man. Don't worry. He's doing well. He's all right.
And well done to you. Just a
Yeah,
question.
deserves
There's a question from me. We'll go back to readers' questions. If I look at Orlando Pirates, and they've got a foreign coach, Jose Riviero, and if I look at his CV, it's not a spectacular CV, and I've asked this question before, and he seems a very nice guy on TV. I don't know the man, but I watched it. I don't see Pirates having progress. Yes, they won 2 top 8s, but the same old problems, lack of goal scoring. I think they're, by the way, their lines are all wrong. I think their shape's wrong when they play and so on. But I'm not a coach, so let me not go into that detail. I'm just an ex-player. But what has he's been there a while now. Has he made a significant improvement in Pirates, which would therefore make a significant improvement in our football? I don't think so. I think a local coach could have done that job. But I'm not saying hire local, but I believe we've got to hire foreign that we're pretty certain are going to make a huge difference to our football, and they're not here to make a quick mercenary buck, or they're not here because we pay more than they would get in Iceland. Would they come if they weren't? By the way, they wouldn't come if they weren't getting.
Yeah. Well, Peter, I can't comment on Orlando Pirates. That's not my. All I can comment on is to say that I think Ruud Krol, when he came here, I don't think he won a trophy the first 3 years, if I stand to be corrected. He didn't win it. Yeah. And then he won a treble, and they call them trebles, and I don't know whatever those called, And then he won after I left Supersport type of thing. Yeah. So I obviously Orlando Pirates, they look for something when they hire a coach. I don't know what they look for. I mean, in their internal meetings. So it's not for me to say. They have won 2 trophies now. They had come second last year. They pipped us, and they're right there with us now again. So, it's for me to judge on how they're doing or not doing. I can't. As if I was outside of the business, not employed, or I could give my comment on these type of things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the business. I'm in the league, so I can't. It's not for me to comment on these type of things. I don't like talking about other teams. But the criteria of clubs, how they pick coaches, I don't know. Everybody's got different criteria, and I don't. But they have won 2 trophies, the top 8 in the MTN, and what and the other top 8. So, and they've been. But we are a distant second to Mamelodi Sundowns, all of us. So, but I think that's down to player availability, affordability. I think affordability is also another thing. I don't think that all the clubs certainly a club like Orlando Pirates has got the same power as a Mamelodi Sundowns. I really don't in terms of financially power. So, it's very difficult to say to a coach, hey, are you improving? But I'm not getting the better. I mean, you're not getting the ammunition that Sundowns is getting, So it's also, so to comment on those type of things, it's not for me to do as a professional. I'm
the one who asked the question because you are.
You put me in a corner there.
but your answer, by the way, your not saying says a lot. But anyway, we won't go into that.
No, but it's not really, because what I'm trying to say is that you take any if South African, I've been here the longest, serving. I've seen a lot of foreign coaches come in from, they've had a foreign coach before. They had the guy, the Zimbauer, then they had Ruud Krol, and then they had Liel and Pirates. I'm just thinking back the last few years. Who else? Those type of guys. They've all played their part. They all won trophies. But certainly the playing fields now are a little bit wider now, with Sundowns being where they are. You know what I'm saying? And the financial clout that, and good luck to them. Good luck to them.
Look, I'm happy when a coach commits himself to the country, and he's, and they spend a lot of time here, and they coach different teams, and they're not here just for the buck, get in and get out. Whereas I think some are in.
I do think South Africa is a bit better than where's it, Finland or Iceland?
Correct.
In terms of the weather.
Let's we'll come back to some of the readers' questions. Just talking about your mate Kevin Johnson. I mean, he's done. I thought he's done pretty well so far at Chiefs.
Yeah, I think. Listen, they come in and right underneath us again. They won. I think he won 4-5 in a row now. I'm not sure, but I mean, they made a big wholesale changes. Who was the guy? Malifi, he was at the beginning. Difficult job, new players, didn't get a few results. This business, and obviously Kevin's come in with much more experience and simplified everything. Obviously, whatever he's done, got a good blend and got a few results. But is it a long-term thing? Is it a short-term thing? Those are the type of things that clubs have to ask.
I think it's short term because obviously he came there to be head of development, and I think he's holding the seat warm for the next coach for next season.
The same thing happened. The same thing happened to Malifi. He came in to run up development, and they put him in the job, and then he's right out the club. So if I was Kevin, I'd say, listen, I'm going back to my job.
Listen, this this is not even. I don't want you to put your head on a block or anything like this, but obviously there's big rumors about Pitso Mosimane coming to Kaizer Chiefs, and a lot of the fans would love it, and so on and so forth. For me, I think Pitso should stay overseas because that's A, where the big money is, and B, there's a lot more he can do. There's already out there. Coming back here, I think is almost not a backward step, but he's done it all in South Africa. And I personally don't think Chiefs can afford him. But anyway, what's your thoughts? I mean, he's a big you obviously, you're the two most successful coaches in the country. It's like your heavyweight opponent there.
He got a lot more money than me.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think once you're in that space where he is now, he's in the Gulf there. He's much closer to Europe than I am. I've got Africa in between me and Europe. He's got a little Black Sea or a little Mediterranean there. So I think knowing Pitts, I think he's got ambitions to get in a first world league. I don't mean no disrespect to where he is or where we are. First world league in terms of more publicity, bigger
club
competitions, bigger club, bigger competitions where you go into a game where there's 20, 30,000 people every week. I think he wants to be in that space, like we all do. And he's got the avenue. He's got the avenue now. Al-Ahly was a huge move. So, I think he's at an age where I think he still wants to. He wants to put his foot in the water there. And I think good luck to him. I would stay the same. I wouldn't go. It's not about a money thing because the money is irrelevant at the moment. It's about, I think, can he get on the world stage a little bit bigger? And if I was him, I would stay where he is and try and get a job in Greece. He speaks Greek. Yeah. Maybe Olympiakos, Panathinaikos. Imagine getting there. You go in the Champions League, and the next minute, look at this Angelo Posco. He was in Australian League, and now he's coaching Spurs. I mean, come on. He does well in the Champions League, gets out the group, and loses in the last 16 or something. Boom.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a great example, Gavin. That no one would have thought of an Australian ever coaching in the English Premier League. Never. And now, in my opinion, if you take Klopp and Pep out the picture, he's the most exciting coach, and I hope he does well because as a newcomer, he's done phenomenally well. And what it's done for Australian coaches all over the world is huge. So if people like yourself and Pitso's right there, almost at their doorstep, if they can get themselves into the so-called European leagues, boy, it's great for every South African coach. Great for
if you said to me tomorrow, you're going to go to a good club, but they're in the second division in France, and the money is not good, I'd say I'm gone because now you getting your feet in the water where it's really, and that's what I'm saying about a player as well. We get too comfortable to say no, we're not going. We want to stay here. Go to Belgium, start there, get in the league there, get play. If you say to me a team in Belgium tomorrow, they want to coach, I'm going there. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is,
get in the ring. Obviously, get in the ring. You're in the ring.
Exactly. And I think Pitso, I feel, I haven't spoken to him recently, but I think that's where he's got to be. He's in that space. As I said, I've got Africa in between me and Europe. He's in the Gulf already. Yeah. he's one step away from.
He's in the money. He's in the money. He's in the oil.
Nice. He buys his own yacht there in the Mediterranean. But the point I'm trying to say, from a football perspective, and I always say to you, football coaches must never lose your nerve. If you lose your nerve and you start You got to be on the front foot. Let's go. You know what I mean? And you say about this Ange guy at Spurs. If he loses his nerve, where he said, no, we need to wait a little bit, come back, counter.
Yeah.
He's on the front foot, and he might get
Yeah.
fired because they might lose 4 or 5 in a row. But as what you've said is that, you know, it's exciting. You know what I mean?
He's
You know,
opened the
so-
door for Australian coaches. He's opened the door for Australian coaches. You'll see more Australian coaches all over the world now.
I mean, look at Arsene Wenger. Look at Arsene Wenger. Come on, guys. Come on. He goes nowhere in France. He goes to Japan. He gets a bit of a job there. He meets David Dean. He's doing okay. He gets an Arsenal job. Nobody, and then all of a sudden, now he's the head big shot at FIFA. So
Look,
he's
he
had
did
a
win the
great
league.
career.
He did win the league with Monaco, by the way, in France. So he did okay. But
Yeah,
France
okay.
wasn't
Yeah.
regarded as a big league like it is.
Yeah, it was there. It's like Ten Hag wins the league at Ajax. Everybody should win the league at Ajax. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And then you go to Man United. So he's really gone poof.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This Ange guy, I mean, he went to Celtic. You should win the league with Celtic in the Scottish League. But I think it's the way he plays the game and the way he interprets the game and the way he wants the game to play. That's obviously Spurs got attracted. And
And
it's not finished yet.
Yeah. People
You
who,
know?
I know at Spurs said to me that he's actually smart how he handles everybody. And he gets the best out of people. Not just the players.
But Peter,
Not just the players.
But Peter,
the board.
you had Mourinho, you had Conte. I mean, God, can you imagine
Yeah.
the joys of life? Can you imagine the joys of life?
You don't want to go to work.
And this
Anyway.
guy's obviously come in, breath of fresh air. How long can it last?
That's
I
true.
mean, he lost a 30-goal striker, Harry Kane, and then to sort of, you know, and his press, his interviews are refreshing. He's honest. He's forthright. He's there's no cloak and dagger. You know, he tells the truth, and that's why I think, you know, and he wouldn't get away with it in this country, but
He calls everybody
he
mate.
wouldn't get away with it in every game. Yeah.
And he calls everybody mate. If you go there, Gavin, you've got to call everybody cuz. I said cuz.
Yeah, from South Africa, yeah, sure.
Listen, Gavin, we always end on a funny story. You've been in the game a long time. You've got a zillion funny stories. I know lots of them you can't repeat, but let's
Yeah,
end and I know a lot of them. Let's end on a funny story. Give me something from the old days.
I was talking to Michael yesterday, a mate of mine, and we were talking about when I was at Seven Stars, and
But hang on, your mate. Let's get it right. Michael is Mike Allen. Funny enough, I played with his father. Richard Allen. I played with his father, Richard Allen, at the end of his career. Miss him. And Mike, he played for Lennox. He played for Seven Stars. He was a good midfielder, very good midfielder.
Michael's the only player I know. He broke his leg on a day. I was the 15th of September, and he broke his leg 15th September again the next year. So he broke his leg on the same day. A year later. And I was right next to him both times he broke his leg. It's an unbelievable story. I mean, his leg today is like this, or one leg. But he broke his leg twice, same day the next year, against Vol Professionals and Manning Rangers. Anyway,
That's
I'll
not
tell
the
you a
funny
story.
story,
So no, it's not a funny story. That's quite a... but the funny story we were talking about yesterday, I was at Seven Stars, and we used to play Sunday afternoons, our games, you know. So, and I had a good side. Benny was there. He was just coming in. Brilliant side. I mean, Monday to Friday, Peter, we were unbelievable. Boom, boom, boom. Come Sunday afternoons, we couldn't move. I thought, there's something wrong here, man. Anyway, I get a tip-off that they're playing for the gang team on Sunday mornings. For the gang team. So they got inter-gangs in Grassy Park, Parkwood, Lavender Hill. So they have these gang games on the Sunday. So the boss of the gang, and he was paying them double what they were earning their wages. So they were on 500 Rand a month, which they most probably were. He was paying them like 1,000 Rand a game just to play for his gang team, you know. Anyway, so I go down on Sunday morning. I see they're all playing. Jonathan Solomons, Jeremy Jansen, Benny McCarthy, the whole lot of them. Then they would rush from the game finish to say 11. They would rush to the game, and then we would play 3. But we would win, but we were second in the league, but we looked flat. So I thought, there's something. So I phoned Rob Moore. I said, Rob, listen, we got to change the games. He said, why? No, I'm going to find them. I said, Rob, listen to me. Let them play. Let's move the games to Friday night. We played the Friday night. We won the league.
And so the gangsters were
we
happy.
won 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah. The gangsters were happy.
Won the league.
Players were happy, and you were happy.
Now, that's not called coaching. That's called management.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's called management. I said, Rob, I'm going to find them. I said, Rob, you're going to get rid of them. Find them all. They're not going to play for us. We need Benny McCarthy. Let them play Sunday mornings for the gang teams. They get money. We play Friday nights. We win. We won the league. They get their money. We get our money. We get promoted. Everybody was happy. Oh, brilliant, coach. Yeah, but I'm still going to find them. I said, Rob, if you find them, I'm walking out.
Listen, Gavin, there could have been one better thing. You should have gone to coach them on the Sunday mornings as well. You would have got double your wages.
I would have got double my money.
All right, Gavin.
And I tell you, Peter, those games are big, eh? There are thousands of people there, Anyway, brilliant story, man. Yeah, true story.
I'll tell you, one of the pro players I know, he played actually overseas at a big club, Spurs. So I won't mention his name. He came to play in South Africa. You know what I'm talking about. The listeners won't. And he got invited to play while he played for Hellenic, and he got invited to play for one of these games with the gangsters. And he told me the story. When they got there, all the gangsters were in their suits, like out the movies, and the players were there, and there were other PSL players in there as well, and he was one of them. And they I had a suitcase of money, all cash, and they said,
that's all cash. Yeah,
this is what you get if we win. Then there was another suitcase, and he opened that suitcase. It was filled with guns, and he said, "This is what you get if we lose." True story. True story. Obviously, they weren't going to get killed, but it was just it was team talk. He said, "That's all the team talk that there was."
Maybe we should do that today in today's world. Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, Peter. It happened with me as a player. We used to play Businessman's League. Remember the Businessman's League? Sunday mornings at Malta Park.
Even I played it.
I mean, Budgie never found out, but I would play for Lawley's, the clothing company. So they'd give me shirts and suits. Yeah, Donald Gee. And then I'll give me shirts and suits. I must come play. I'll say, but what happens if don't worry, we'll sort him out. So you go play Sunday morning for the game, and he gives you a nice suit and a shirt and a...
I think maybe that's all our PSL players. That's why the standard's not as good as it was. Anyway, it's been brilliant. I will talk to you again after the Namibia game, but fantastic.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Gavin. Thanks.